Hello, everybody. How are you? My name is Sergio Ríos, and as Maria Jose told you, I'm the pastry chef of chocolate. We are located in Monterrey, here in Mexico. It's northeast Mexico, and chocolate is a pastry shop where we specialize in working with chocolate, mainly Mexican chocolate. We make a wide range, a wide variety of desserts. And I am also a savory chef, so that's why I'm here today to be your host in today's cooking class. You already have the recipe, and I hope you will have a great lunch or dinner, depending on where you are, from where you are watching us. So I would like to know first, where are you guys watching us from? Where are you connecting? We're going to start first. In the meantime, you give our responses. First of all, in the kitchen, we have a special term to say about having everything in place. That's called mise en place. So today, I already have my mise en place. So everything is ready. I'm going to show you first. We are going to begin with our mashed potatoes. So here I have our potatoes. Here in Mexico, we only have this variety of large potatoes. But if you are in the States, you can look for Yukon Gold potatoes. So here I have my potatoes. I already have some of them previously cut, so we can make everything faster. It's like a half-inch cubes. And then we have our fresh herbs, rosemary, parsley, and then here we have our garlic cloves already peeled. So I'm going to start with the potatoes. I usually peel them with a peeler like this. They are already washed. Okay, so sometimes the potatoes, since they are a vegetable that grows underneath the earth, sometimes they are a little bit with a little dirt, but we already washed them very well. These mashed potatoes are very special to me because when I'm working at the pastry, I usually make everything cook for myself or cook for my coworkers in there. So I use a lot the oven, since at the pastry the oven is always on. Okay. We're going to peel two potatoes. One special tip: in order to the potatoes to not get oxidized, we have to put them in cold water, always in cold water. So I'm going to peel another one. But the one that I already peeled, it's very important that I put it in cold water. Okay. Okay, I was telling you about these mashed potatoes. So since I'm a pastry chef as well, I like to mix sometimes the techniques for cooking. So this is kind of a whipped mashed potatoes. So we will have a very, very, very creamy texture. Okay? We have now the potatoes ready, and the correct way to cut them is first split lengthwise. This is a little bit, I'm going to take out this part. Okay, and then we have to firmly hold the potato, okay? And then cut it like this. And then small cubes. And then back in the cold water too. I don't know what happened with this one. I'm going to take out this inner part. Okay, and I'm going to cut them. The smaller you cut the potatoes, the faster they will cook in water, okay? So in order to have our mashed potatoes ready in like maybe half an hour, I'm trying to cut them very small, okay? And then our last potatoes. I usually, when I make mashed potatoes, I usually consider one potato per person. Sometimes you can maybe you can ask yourself, oh, I'm going to have a dinner for 3, for 6, or whatever. You can consider one potato for each guest you will have at home. So this recipe, you can easily transform it to the amount of guests you are going to have for dinner. Also, I like to use garlic. When you use, sometimes you can add the garlic roasted, but this is a very easy way to integrate the flavor of the garlic into the mashed potatoes. And I also consider 1 garlic clove per potato, okay? So here I have my, the recipe I sent you, it says 4 potatoes. I'm using today 5, so I have 5 potatoes and 5 garlic cloves, okay? Then the next step is put the potatoes with all the water in a pot, okay? I'm going to put a little bit more water, okay? And then put the garlic cloves, the whole garlic cloves in it. And then I have here sea salt. I'm from Acapulco. That is a region that is in the Pacific coast. So I'm very used to this kind of sea salt, okay? I like it a lot because I think it seasons very well and the food doesn't get salty, okay? So cold water, the cut potatoes, whole garlic cloves, and we are going to put everything in the stove, okay? First, we have to let it boil, okay? And in the meantime, we are going to begin with our chicken, okay? I bought this organic chicken. I didn't get the chicken breast with the wing, since here is a little, well, it's not that common to find organic chicken. And well, we can find it, but we don't have like an organic place where with a butcher and that. So I just grabbed whatever I found, but it's a whole chicken, the one chicken breast, the one whole chicken breast, and the legs with the thighs, okay? And Here I have everything for my marinade. Okay. Let's take a minute to tell you guys about the marinade. If you live in the United States, I bought this mustard. Try to get a very nice quality mustard. This is a German mustard I found at the supermarket. Okay, but this recipe of chicken, I have done it with a lot of different kinds of mustard, and the one that I love is the Sir Kensington's brand. In the United States, it's very common to find it, but they have different varieties of mustard. I like to use the one that's tagged as spicy brown. It's very, very, very good. It has like a special flavor, a little bit sweet, okay? But any Dijon mustard will work great as well. And then I want to show you, this is a rosemary I have in my patio at the pastry shop. We have a little, like a backyard, a patio, and I grow this rosemary. And when you have the rosemary, you don't need to chop the whole thing. You just have to take out the stems. That is the tender part. This is a very easy. This is a herb that grows very easily. So you can grow it at home. It doesn't require a lot of cares. Do we have a question?
Yeah, that if you can talk about the different types of potatoes.
Okay, yes.
People can also catch up.
Okay, yes. Here in Mexico, we only have the Yukon potatoes. But for example, if you want to make like baked potatoes, like a whole baked potatoes, I think in the States you have the best variety would be the Idaho potatoes, no? Because the potatoes differ the amount or the type of starch they have in it, okay? So yes, it can. It doesn't make a difference for mashed potatoes. It doesn't make that much difference. It makes a difference, for example, if you make dishes like gnocchi. For example, gnocchi will not work with Yukon potatoes because the starch is different. It gives you like a very elastic kind of consistency. So mainly for mashed potatoes, you can use Yukon Gold, and for like a whole baked potatoes, I would recommend Idaho. Okay. Well, I was talking to you about the rosemary. That is a very, very, very easy to grow herb. Okay, so when we have all the tiny leaves without this like this hard stem, you cut them finely chopped, and believe me, of course in cooking you can use dried herbs, but it makes such a difference to use fresh herbs, and much more difference if you grow them in your backyard. So the smell, the consistency of the herb is very, very nice. Okay. So maybe you have already heard about honey mustard chicken. Usually they don't put rosemary in it, but I wanted to add a different kind of flavor. This recipe, you can easily make it vegetarian by making it with oyster mushrooms. The baking time probably will differ, maybe because the mushrooms are a bit much tender. Yesterday also Maria asked me that someone was asking about the substitute this recipe with fish. You can make it also with fish. I would not add the rosemary since it is a very strong flavor for the fish. I would use a fish, maybe a sea bass, since it is baked. It remains the consistency. Okay. Then we are going to mix the olive oil. I'm going to put the garlic. This is not 6 cloves of garlic. This is a bit more, so I'm not going to add all of it because in the kitchen we already have. Okay, I think this is okay. The mustard, the special part. Okay. And then the honey. The honey plays a very special part in this recipe since it actually caramelizes the whole thing, the chicken. So a little bit of sea salt.
What is the best way to cut or crush the garlic?
The best way to cut and crush the garlic is, si quieres dile a Laurita que me pase un ajo sin pelar. I'm going to show you. They're going to bring me a fresh garlic clove. Okay. So our marinade. 2 ajos sin pelar, Laurita, por favor. Okay, so our marinade has to look like this. I don't use and going ahead in a question that maybe you will have, I don't use a lot of pepper in my preparations. You can add some freshly crushed black pepper, but I don't usually use that much. I only use sea salt for almost everything, okay? So this is the marinade. I'm going to show you 2 types of ways to peel the garlic. The first one is with a paring knife, okay? You can cut the 2 sides of the garlic, and with the help of the knife, you get this, okay? And the other way to peel and crush the garlic is with a chef's knife and with the wide part of the knife, and very careful. And with this part of your hand, you just put a bit pressure, okay? And the garlic, okay? And the garlic goes right away, okay? So those are the 2 types of peeling and crushing garlic, okay? Then we're going to, I have this for my chicken, this ceramic baking dish, and I'm going to put the chicken pieces in it.
Another question is how many garlic per person for the fish?
For the fish, I would use the same. If you use sea bass, then probably, because I would use the same amount. Okay. I would use the same amount of garlic for the fish. Okay. And then we put all the marinade in. This will make also a great sauce for the chicken. So don't be afraid to put that much. Try to let everything goes in. Okay. And you will have like an instant, with this marinade, you will have like an instant kind of gravy for your mashed potatoes. So this will go to the fridge. I'm going to cover with plastic wrap. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the fridge. So come with me. I forgot to tell you, we are in the kitchen of Gastrobureau. So I would like to show you our beautiful kitchen today. We have our oven already preheated. Okay. This is 210 Celsius, but it's like 400 Fahrenheit. So this is our lovely kitchen, and well, let's get back to work. Here in Gastrobureau, we usually I work with Gastrobureau to record several cooking videos. They have also an online platform, that's gastrobureau.tv. So I may have a gift for you when we end the class. So take notes. Okay, then we have to wait for our potatoes to be done. We are making the potato crumble too. Okay, for this we need.
How much salt do you recommend to use?
I think we have a question. How much
Salt do you recommend to use?
How much salt do I recommend to use? I usually taste it for the sea salt. When I use sea salt, for me it's a very special kind of salt because it doesn't get the food salty. For me, it's seasoned, but it depends on everybody. I usually have like a pinch of salt or whatever. So for the chicken, don't be afraid to put a little bit more salt than usual, because remember you're marinated like whole pieces of chicken. So it will take a lot of salt to make it actually taste real salty or real bad. Okay. Okay, then we are going to prepare our potato chips crumble. This is a very special preparation for me. Okay, let's take a look at the potatoes first. Okay. The water has already begun to boil. So just be watching your potatoes. These are going to cook very, very, very fast. Just watch that the water doesn't go. I think we have another question.
Yeah, if we can just slow down to make sure that everybody catched up.
Okay, yes.
I'll go slower.
Okay. Okay, then we are going to. So we have our chicken marinated at the fridge. The potatoes are cooking. And now we are going to prepare the potato chips crumble. So I just crush the chips with my hand. This is a recipe I developed in chocolate in the pastry shop. As I told you, we make like different kind of desserts, and I'm always trying new combinations and contrast of flavors. And we have there a cookie that's made of potato chips, salted caramel, and chocolate chips. So once I had a dinner with some friends, and I was making the mashed potatoes, and I saw the chips, the bag of chips there, and I was like, maybe I would. It will be fun to add crunchy texture to the mashed potatoes that are already very creamy and fluffy. And then I started to like make combinations of techniques, as I told you before, like very homemade cooking with pastry techniques. So this is a technique. Well, it's inspired in a technique that it's called streusel or crumble. Maybe you have already tried like peach crumble or apple crumble. So the principle behind this potato chips crumble is that, but making it savory. So it's very simple. You just crush the potato chips. I'm going to show you which one I use. Here in Monterrey, we get like a lot of American products. So I like this because they already have the like baked potato flavor. So this gives very, very nice flavor and texture. And I'm going to add the butter in pieces. Okay. I'm going to start mixing the potato chips with the butter to make a crumble. I have some more potato chips here that I didn't add. Okay. So our potato chips crumble should look like this. I'm going to add the parsley. Okay. I like to add. I like to use like the wavy that are a little bit thick potato chips, but you can use any or whatever you find or like. We are going to add right now a little bit of fresh parsley just to add some color. Okay, this is already washed. This I don't grow it in my garden, so just bought it at the supermarket. And then it's just to add a little bit of color. Okay, So very carefully. So how's everybody doing? What are you, are you catching up with me? Okay, then we add the fresh parsley in the potato chip scramble. To move it with a spoon. This is just going to add like a nice creamy texture on top of everything. So if you have any questions or any new ideas for our potato chip scramble, so we have everything almost set. We're going back to our potatoes. So I'm going to show you the way. Look, here we have the garlic. And the garlic will cook nicely with the potatoes. And as I told you, it will give it a very nice taste. Not so garlicky as one would think. So then we take the potatoes and with a fork we test if they are soft. These ones are already cooked, but I want them a little bit softer. I'm going to show you here in the. Okay, this potato is already cooked. Okay, but I want it a little bit more soft. So I'm going to leave it for another 5 minutes. Okay. And
before we move on, can you show how you cut the parsley?
okay, yes.
Cutting technique.
Okay, the parsley. The parsley, I already washed it and disinfect the whole bunch. And I just take the parts that I need. Okay. And then I get everything together. Okay. And cut it like this. Okay. Don't chop your parsley that much. Okay. I like to first hold everything together and then cut it once. For this kind of herbs, for example, parsley, cilantro, or mint, for example, we don't chop it like this. Why? Because otherwise, if we chop it, if I would begin to make this movement, the parsley would get dark. Okay, so with this kind of herbs, parsley, cilantro, mint, you just grab the herb and cut it once, and that's it. Okay, because usually these kind of herbs are used to give some color to the preparations, or some color to the preparations, or some extra flavors. So in this case, we don't want to get it dark. We want to have our parsley to remain like bright green. Okay? So el colador. Me paso un bowl grandote. Okay. So I'm going to, okay. I am going to prepare for our, because our potatoes are going to be ready like in a minute or two. So I have this strainer. I'm going to make it in this bowl, but you can strain the potatoes directly in the, I forgot the word, in the sink. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so we're going to check our potatoes again. Look, they break very easily. Okay, so the potatoes are ready. One very important thing is, since we are making mashed potatoes, it doesn't matter if the potatoes are overcooked. Don't worry about that. Just make sure that they are cooked. It's better to have them slightly overcooked than undercooked. If you have undercooked potatoes for making mashed potatoes, then you will have a lot of lumps, and the creamy texture that we are trying to achieve, it won't work that way. Okay, so I'm going to put everything. I think we're done with the savory cooking. I know the salt. Forgot about the salt. So I'm going to okay. Okay. Strain all the water so we have nice cooked potatoes. Okay. Then we are going to carefully. Okay, so this is something I would like to talk about. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can make the potatoes, you can strain them the same way we are doing and put them in a bowl and mash them. You can use, for example, a potato masher, or you can use a whisk also to mash them, because we are going to kind of whip a little bit the potatoes. So when the potatoes are still warm, we put them in the stand mixer. Okay. And with the paddle attachment, the stand mixer has 3 attachments: the paddle attachment, a whisk, and a hook for making dough, bread. So we are going to use the paddle attachment and begin to mash them. Okay. So all the flavor of the garlic goes in as well. You see how this works perfectly fine. So it's just a very useful tool, not for pastry, not just for pastry, but for kitchen too. So with a plastic spatula, we are going to put everything down. Okay. And here you can work it at any speed you want, like medium speed or a bit higher speed. Okay. I want to show you. This is like medium speed, 4 or 5, but I can go up to 7 or 8, okay? Okay, if you do it by hand, I'm going to stop slightly this. If you do it by hand, se me pasa el bowl aunque sin agua. If you do it by hand, you have to first mash the potatoes with a potato masher, and then you, me pasas? Okay, if you do it by hand, you need to first strain the potatoes to a bowl like this, okay, and then mash them by hand. You can use like a potato masher or a wooden spatula or something like this. And then when they are already mashed, I recommend to use a whisk just to start like to make the similar procedure that we are making here, that it's like creaming the potato puree. It's going to be a bit harder, but since the potatoes are very, very well done, once they are mashed, you just, the texture would be like a thick, well, it's not very, it's not like a heavy mixture, you know? So it would be easy to make it with manually with a hand whisk, okay? And then we're going back to this. When the potatoes, or when the mashed potatoes are still warm, I'm going to add the butter. Okay, look how it melts. And for example, if you want to make this recipe strictly vegan, you can use margarine and add just a little bit of cheese, maybe like cashew nut cheese will work well. So first of all, the butter in this recipe needs to melt. This butter, I have it at room temperature. So it melts right away. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit more, just like 1 stick of butter. If you like a lot of butter flavor, you can add more, it doesn't matter. Okay. And then here comes one of my best kept secrets, heavy cream. Okay, we first need to make sure that we don't have any butter inside the mixture. Okay. So we don't have any butter left. Okay. And then while the machine is working at medium speed, we begin to add the heavy cream. Or for example, here in Mexico you can use heavy whipping cream. And see how it is integrating into the mashed potatoes. This is an amazing recipe. You can eat these mashed potatoes like with a spoon. See how creamy is getting? So I just need to scrape down the sides and add the rest of the cream. Okay, so here we are making like adding two things at a time to our recipe. First of all, the flavor of the heavy cream, and second, since we are mixing it and whipping it, it gives we are giving the fluffiness to these mashed potatoes. So okay, look how beautiful. Okay, then we are taking this out, and since the cream was a little bit, well, not cold, but it was not warm, okay, the mashed potatoes are not that warm, are slightly warm. And then that's why I came with the idea of baking them, because in a dinner or whatever, you can make this ahead, and then you already need to bake them. Okay, so we are putting. I have here an oval ceramic dish. But I want you guys to look at the texture of these potatoes. Oh, wait, I forgot to put salt in it. Sorry. So for this amount of potatoes, I put like 2 pinches of salt. Okay.
People are really loving the butter.
So the salt had to go on the mixer, but sorry, I forgot, but it doesn't matter. Look how creamy is this thing. Okay. Just make sure the salt is well mixed, and then we can pour it everything. I like to use these kind of dishes a lot since they already make 2 functions. You can bake in them and also serve in them. Okay, so let's make sure all the mashed potatoes go in. It's very, very nice recipe. Okay. Okay. Then we are going to set this aside. We don't add right now the potato chips crumble, okay? Because first I want to put the chicken in the oven. So I'm going to clean a little bit here. So for example, if you have a dinner with some guests, if you have a dinner or whatever, you can prepare the mashed potatoes ahead and keep them. Right now, I'm not gonna I'm not going to cover them because we're going to put them in like 15, 20 minutes. But you can prepare this ahead and keep them covered on the side. And then prepare the potato chips crumble. The potato chips crumble, since it has some butter in it, yes, you can keep it in the fridge. So when your guests are about to arrive at your place, you just put the chicken in the oven, and 10 minutes before the chicken is done, you just put the potato chips crumble on top of it and go to the oven, okay? So I'm going to keep this way. We're going to take the chicken out of the fridge. Okay, and put it straight into the oven. Okay. Nice. Okay, so because here we have 2 ovens. This will take about like 30 minutes. Timer. This timer to start. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something about the oven. For example, this is a smart oven. So it has different kind of, maybe if you have this oven, you will find different kind of functions in it. For example, this is my upper oven where I put the chicken. It has the bake option, the broil option, proof, convex bake, convex broil, and convex roast. For these kind of recipes and for also the cookies that we are going to bake, I like to use the convection mode because it has like this air, like hot air running all in between, and for me it's better to cook these kind of recipes that way. Okay, so you use convection bake. And right now the chicken is already in the oven, and we are going back to this camera. We're going to make our cookie dough. How are you guys doing? Everybody putting chicken in the oven? The baking time is it's very relative. Every oven is different, and for example, if you notice that your oven is like very hot, then you can bake it from 370 Fahrenheit to 420 Fahrenheit, okay? So it depends on the intensity of your oven, okay? Okay. We are ready for our cookies. My favorite part. Okay.
What is the temperature in Celsius?
In Celsius is from 180 Celsius to 200 or 210 maximum. Okay, well, we are ready for the best part, the dessert. So here we have. I'm going to give you guys a little time if you have to, because I have another bowl for the cookies, and maybe if you are using your hand mixer at home, you need to wash. Ask your sous chef to help you wash the other bowl. So I'm going to, since you are making sure that, I'm going to present you all our ingredients. Okay, here we have some butter. Here we have some Muscovado sugar. Okay, here we have the flour, the regular flour, the almond flour, and some baking soda.
How long do you cook it if you don't know what convection is? Or if you don't have it?
If you don't have convection bake, you cook it the same time. Okay, 30 minutes for this amount of chicken. I put 30 minutes, and it should be done. I'm going to show you when the time is finished how it should look. Okay. Okay. We have some M&Ms too, and some pretzels to give it like a salty, crunchy, interesting touch. Okay.
Before we move on to the cookies, can we go over the instructions for the chicken again?
Okay, yes. Before we go into with the cookies, I'll go over the instructions for the chicken again. Remember, you need to prepare the marinade first. That is, it consists of olive oil, honey, mustard, garlic, fresh rosemary, and salt, and sea salt. You mix everything together, then you marinate the chicken pieces in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Then you put the same dish where we were marinated. We were using a ceramic baking dish to marinate them in the fridge, and we use the same ceramic dish to bake them. We are going to bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. This time will vary, depend on the oven, on the kind of oven. I usually use, since this is a smart oven, I usually use the convection bake mode, since the air that circulates in that kind of oven makes the products cook better. Okay, I don't know if we have any other question.
Yeah, for how long do you cook the sea bass?
The sea bass will take, if you have fillets for about like individual fillets, that they should weight around 150 or 200 grams. I would say 200 will be like a very large fillet. It will cook for around 18 or 20 minutes, okay? If you are substituting the recipes also for mushrooms, like oyster mushrooms or portobello mushrooms, the time should be around the same, like 18 to 20 minutes, okay? The sea bass is it's a kind of fish that I usually recommend to bake, since the texture is a bit more, the flesh, it kind of is more resistant to these kind of preparations. Also, for example, some other fish that you can use for this kind of recipes is the cod, the black cod. So it will take also about the same time, like 18-20 minutes, depending on the size of the fish fillet.
It's a full piece of sea bass.
It's a full piece, like a whole fish with spines and everything. Depends on the weight. You can cook it like at least 45 minutes. If it is like maybe a piece maybe 2 pounds. Maybe it's like a 2-pound fish. If it is a whole fish, it will take like 40 to 45 minutes. Okay. So you guys someone is making the sea bass.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, if there is any other questions. If not, I will go on with the recipe for the cookies. No questions? Okay. Well, for the cookies, here we have our mise en place, as our French masters say. Okay. I'm going to put the butter, first of all, the butter in the bowl of the mixer, and the brown sugar. This is a light brown sugar, Moscovado sugar. Okay. This recipe I always try to play with my recipes. I'm always, as I told you, I'm always changing and looking for new combinations of flavors and textures. And for example, this recipe, I put only brown sugar. You can use also regular sugar, refined sugar, but when you use dark sugar specifically in cookies, we are looking, when you use dark sugar, we are trying to get like a more soft texture. If you use refined sugar or powdered sugar, is when we are trying to look for like a more crunchy texture, okay? So that's why I am using just brown sugar in this recipe, because we are cooking everything in a skillet. So we need to eat it with like a spoon. You also can make these cookies individually, okay? So when the dough is ready, I'm going to go straight to that point, okay? Okay. Then with our with a stand mixer, sorry. This, if you would like to make them by hand, it would be like a similar procedure for the. How many cups of sugar? Okay. 5 tablespoons. 5 tablespoons unsalted butter and 5 tablespoons of brown sugar, light brown. Okay? And then, when both ingredients are mixed, then I'm going to cream it to like medium or medium-high speed. Okay. Okay. We are also using a plastic spatula to cream everything. And then we're going to add just 1 egg. Another tip, never break the eggs inside the mixture. Always break them in a container apart. So if to make sure the egg is not, it's in good conditions. And then we're going to add the egg. Okay, in this step, you don't need to have like everything integrated. Actually, the mixture should look like this, like separated, but don't worry, don't panic. Everything will work just fine. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the next ingredients, the flour and the almond flour. I use the almond flour to use another kind of, I use the almond flour to use another kind of texture, to give another kind of texture in the cookies. So it gives like a more crumbly texture, okay? So I put them, you don't need to sift the almond flour, okay? You just need to sift the regular flour, the all-purpose flour, I use all-purpose, and then we mix them together, okay? The flour, the all-purpose flour, needs to be sifted with the baking soda, and then add the almond flour, because the thing about almond flour that we want is those like this texture, like a crumbly texture that's going to give us to our cookies, okay? So we are going to add all the dry ingredients. Okay. And the mixture should look like this. Okay. If you see, I have still some almond and flour pieces. Don't worry. This is very important in order to obtain this texture in the cookies. And then the fun part. We're going to add the M&Ms and the pretzels, just slightly broken. And just mix very, very, very. And that's it.
Flour?
I'm sorry?
Can people use coconut flour for the cookies?
Yes, you can use coconut flour, or actually you can use substitute everything for almond flour. So look at this. Okay. So the thing with this cookie is that we don't want it very, very, very mixed, okay? We just want it slightly mixed, okay? So our texture would be like a kind of rough and crumbly texture, and it's going to look very, very nice and very homemade, and it's going to taste amazing as well, okay? Then I'm going to make a pause so I can go check on the chicken. So come with me. Okay, this says I want you guys, I'm going to go for a fork and chicken tongs. Okay, so this has been for, okay, I want you guys to look at it. Okay. It still has like 12 minutes remaining. Okay, this is still a little bit raw. Okay. So you guys can check it like this. Okay, you see? But you see how it begins to caramelize? This at the end will be fully caramelized. So I'm going to put it back in the oven. for another 12 minutes. Maybe it will take longer, but we're going to check it, okay? So back for the cookies. When the chicken is almost done, I'm going to put the potato puree maybe in the same oven. But right now, we are going to go through our cookie.
Before we go there, what can people do if their dough is dusty? And if you can also go over the flours. If your dough is very dry.
If their dough is very dry, okay, you have to mix it a little bit more, or when you add the butter, when you add the dry ingredients, okay, you need to let everything mix. Not that much, but remember that it also, when I have it here, it also looked a kind of dusty, not integrated. So it will work. If you work it a little bit more, maybe they will integrate. Also, for example, the eggs, sometimes the eggs are a little bit slightly smaller. The other thing you can do is add one more egg if the eggs are a little bit too small. Okay. And then this is like a great recipe to make with the family, or if you have kids, I'm sure they will love this part of the cookie recipe. Okay, first of all, I want to say if you want to make these cookies individually, you just need to divide them. Actually, this recipe will make 4 large cookies from 100 grams each, but you can make them whatever shape or whatever size you want, okay? So if you want to make these cookies like individual, you just work the dough slightly and then make like a burger patty, and then you put them in a tray and then bake them, or put them in a tray and put them in the fridge or in the freezer. And when they are already frozen, you need to save them in some plastic bags, or in the fridge it will last for about 4 to 5 days, or in the freezer they will last for about 2 weeks. Okay? So since we are making this cookie skillet, we're going to put it just like this. Okay. Okay. And then we can add some more of whatever you have. I'm going to put some more. And this is the greatest part of being a pastry chef. You can decorate them. Look how nice. The thing here is to have fun and create. Okay. And then I'm going to put one of the peanuts ones in the middle. Okay. You can substitute this chocolate with, or the pretzels, with whatever. Okay. The nice thing in pastry is that I have pretzel bags in it. And I just want to put like the whole pretzels, maybe. This depends on you guys. Maybe we can put like a little nest. Okay. Because we are serving this. Oh, it broke. We are serving this with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Okay. So I'm trying to make like a nice nest to put the ice cream in it. Okay. Nice, isn't it? Here you can play with whatever shape or whatever thing you have in your kitchen. And we are... ¿Qué hora es? Okay. Okay. Right now we are going to then set this aside. This you can keep it in your kitchen when the chicken is done, or put it, if you have space in your oven, you can put it at the same time. But since this is the dessert, we're going to wait just a little bit to put it in, and we are going to prepare the mashed potatoes. We're going to sprinkle. This is going to taste amazing. We're going to sprinkle all of the potato chips crumble on top of it. Okay. And these you can make at the last minute, okay? When you have a dinner. So this is like a very interesting spin on the classic mashed potatoes. Just to have like this crunchy, interesting, very playful texture on top of it. So this, I'm going to put it in the oven with the chicken, and then we're going back to the cookie skillet, okay? Okay. I am going to check on the chicken. Okay. Yummy. Okay, this still needs a little bit more cooking. But the legs that are smaller, they're almost all the way through. Okay, so we are going to put this back in the oven and put the mashed potatoes in the oven too. Okay. We're going to give it like maybe 12 more minutes. Okay. And maybe, let me check on the temperature. I'm going to put it a little bit more heat, okay? So the cookie will cook also for about 12 more minutes. So you can put it in the oven or wait a little bit. So I don't know if you have any questions that we can answer.
Do you cook the chicken with the skin on?
Yes, I do. Yes, I cook. You can take the skin off, but you can cook it with the skin on as well. It doesn't matter. Okay. You guys can put the cookies in the oven later on. I'm going to put them right now so we can have everything ready. Okay? ¿Qué hora es? Okay, I'm going to put them in this part of the oven. Okay? So this is sometimes some friends or some people tell me that they are very afraid of using the oven at home, since when you turn the oven on, you may think that it's only for professionals or whatever, but actually using your oven at home is it's a very practical way of cooking. As you see, you can make 1, 2, or 3 preparations, and depending on the size of your oven, you can put everything together at different times, and then the food or the meal or the dinner you are cooking is done practically by itself. I use a lot of oven recipes, bake recipes that need the oven, because since I am as the pastry shop, we have, as I told you, the oven all day long on, and sometimes we're in a rush and I just make some marinated or something and then just open the oven and put everything and go back 30 minutes later. So it's a very practical way of cooking. For me also, I like to take inspirations from very different places. So tell me, you guys, how you're going with your chicken and mashed potatoes and cookies and everything.
How long is the cooking time when everything's from the fridge?
How long is the cooking time? The cooking time when everything is from the fridge, for example, for the cookies, let's talk about the dessert first. For the cookies, if you have them freeze or go out from the fridge, you need to let them sit for about 15 to 20 minutes to get room temperature, and then you need to put them in the oven at the same time, 15 minutes if you're making the large cookie skillet. And for the chicken, you saw it's the same time. Maybe it will take 10 more minutes, since the ceramic dish was not that extended, but it will take 30, 40 minutes. And the mashed potatoes, I will recommend you to also let them sit. If you prepare them, for example, in the morning or at noon, and you are expecting guests for dinner, you just let them sit 30 minutes. You just need to let them sit for also 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and then put them in the oven. These dishes are special for for both temperatures. You can use these containers to put things in the fridge and then go straight to the oven. It doesn't happen anything to these kind of baking dishes, but I usually recommend to let them sit at room temperature for a little bit before put it straight to the oven. Okay? So another question. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? We're almost done. We're just waiting for everything to be done. Everybody has their chicken and everything in the oven. We're just like 10 minutes away from mi agua. Ya la perdí. Abajo. Okay. So the main, sí, yo creo que está ya. So the main thing about cooking, I usually like to have or learn these recipes or like basic recipes, but feel free to change whatever ingredient you have. For example, if you live in a place, I heard a lot of questions about the substitutions for the fish. No, for example, for the chicken, sorry, for fish. Or if you, for example, have at hand or at the place you live, like another kind of herbs, for example, I usually use rosemary. I told you because this something there. It is something I grow at my patio. But if you have at hand maybe some sage, maybe some thyme, or another interesting herb, you feel free to experiment with it and see how the flavors go. Also for the mashed potatoes, as I told you, it was like a very playful thing when I created these mashed potatoes. So with the ingredients I had at the pastry, like heavy cream and then the potato chips. So that's one of the best or nicest things about cooking, that you need to first of all feel comfortable and have fun. This is the most, for me, this is the most important. And sometimes if you make a mistake, don't worry. Myself, I made sometimes mistakes, and you think at the moment, oh, it's not going to work because I didn't learn it that way or whatever. But just let the mistake happen, and maybe you can discover something else in your recipe. Okay. Also for the cookie, well, you can add whatever thing you want. I put the pretzels. I always like to put like different or interesting textures and contrasts of flavors in my pastry kind of products. I believe that a dessert, a well done dessert, is a dessert that you should be able to eat completely. For example, if you eat a dessert and you taste it and you feel it's very sweet, or it's like the flavor it invades your mouth in not a very nice way, then for in my opinion, it's not well done dessert. Well done dessert should be something that you can be able to finish from the beginning to the end. So that's why I introduce in all my desserts certain interesting touches. For example, here we have like the softness that the dark sugar is going to give us in the texture of the cookie, the sweetness and the lovely taste of the chocolate. Of course, everybody loves chocolate, but also another element that are the pretzels that gives them a crunchy or and lightly salted texture. For example, I don't know if you have tasted some cookies that they add chocolate chips, but they also add like some kind of sea salt. So that is a very interesting touch in the dessert, because when you taste a cookie like that, you start to eat it, and then you bite, give it one bite, and then another, and when you see, you already finished the dessert. So try to look that in your preparations, and feel free, as I told you, to put another interesting ingredients in the recipes we are making today. I would love to see your creations. Also, I send you my social media accounts, so you can feel free to upload any Insta stories or whatever and tag me. Okay, so we are going to check again on our oven. Ooh. Okay, I think this is done. Le pides a Laurita una rejilla. Okay, look how nicely done.
Very nice.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Sí. ¿La puedo poner directo? Oye. Okay. Okay. And okay. Okay, I think it's done. You see, when you see this part, okay, that the juices run clear, okay. Okay. And the cookie is already done. Okay, I'm going to put this in here. Okay, and okay, we are going to take everything to the front of the kitchen. Okay. And see that I left the skin on the chicken, and let me bring everything here, and see how I left the skin on the chicken, and it caramelizes because of the honey. The honey in it caramelizes very, very well. Okay, I just need to go to look for my vanilla ice cream to the fridge, and we are almost done. Try to use local ingredients, local shops. This is from a very nice shop that is called Lulo Gelato. So, ya casi es hora, ¿no? Okay, now I'm looking at you. Okay. Are you guys ready to begin to plate? Okay, hello. Now I see you guys. How are you guys doing? Is everything in the oven? Están en mute.
So, Chef, yes, I think we're just working between the two different technologies because I think we're hearing you with the lag and all that. So I think most people are probably ready to play. So I think we're in good shape. Maria, Maria,
Okay.
can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear everybody. Sergio, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect, excellent. So it's just because between YouTube and the transmission in Teams. Yep.
Okay, but I can hear you
So
loud and clear.
yeah, maybe excellent. So if you want, I think that as you can see in the pictures, people are sending their dishes. It looks great. So if you just want to put the things in plates and then
Sure.
we can say goodbye and just bring it back to my table.
Sure. Un tenedor. Okay, well, we are going to plate. I'm going to serve this nice chicken leg. Okay. And then I'm going to serve. Look, this is amazing. And see how nice and warm and crunchy and everything is our mashed potatoes. Okay, so just make sure everyone gets a nice, and this is what I told you about all the juices. The marinade and the chicken juices make like a kind of natural gravy. So this I love to serve a lot of it because with the mashed potatoes it's amazing. Okay. And then we are so that's why I told you about the texture in a plate. That is very, very nice to have different textures and different ingredients. For me, this thing with the potato chips crumble is something that will add a very, very nice spin on your regular mashed potatoes. And then see the cookie, it's a little bit warm, and the small nest that I made out of the pretzels will work just fine. I forgot to take the ice cream out a little bit before, but to make like a nice round scoop. Okay. Besides of the cooking lesson, I told you that I sometimes work here in Gastrobureau, and I would like you guys to have a, first of all, thank you all for making me part of this amazing activity you're doing. And I would like to thank you all by giving you a special coupon for some cooking classes if you are interested in begin to learn. I have just like a couple of classes in the Gastrobureau site. So I'm going to give you, then, ¿podemos pasar las instrucciones o podemos pasar el cupón? Okay, in a minute we will put you on screen the coupon, so you can enter the gastrobureau.tv site and sign in for a free 30 days trial, so you can keep on cooking with us. Okay, I am done with the ice cream. Okay, and make sure to serve the cookie skillet warm so the ice cream, of course, can melt in. And right now, are you ready to taste? See, this is very okay. We're going to clean everything on our plates. And I think I'm ready. Should we taste it? Ay, un bebé, a baby. Are you guys ready to taste? Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm going to taste a little bit of the chicken. Okay, here we can see that the chicken is well done. Okay. Just make sure your chicken is done, and I just like to grab a little bit of everything. A little mashed potatoes with the juices of the, no, the juices are the best. Okay, so, very nice. Are you guys okay? Do you need any help with something? I see everyone plating. Huh? Okay, then I'm going to taste the cookie, and with that, I must say goodbye and Thank you again. Look at it. Thank you guys for everything. Oh, very good.
Guys, you can close your YouTube now, and everybody, if you come back to Teams, can you hear me? So if everybody, yes, go ahead, John.
No, yes, Maria. Yeah, if everybody could close their YouTube, and I want to make sure we thank him. Hopefully he's seeing the messages. I know it's tough with the time delay, but
Yeah,
let's just all stay
uh,
with MS Teams. So
mhm.
Okay, well,
Thanks, Chef.
thank you.
Chef.
Thank you. Enjoy your meal. Have a great day.
All right.
Well, thank you, everybody. I know the technology is always a challenge, but and hopefully the cooking wasn't too challenging. I know for myself, I was joking, but I definitely fell behind in the beginning, but I caught up. I do want to thank Maria and Alex for pulling this together. Really do appreciate it. So above and beyond.